NoDQ.com.
Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift. So let's go ahead and get started with your questions. First one today comes from SCW Wrestling Channel. Hey Aaron, do you think Kevin Owens would be a good Paul Heyman guy? Could help elevate KO back to the main event picture and also could create a nice shock moment at SummerSlam should KO win the Money in the Bank and then Heyman helps KO to cash it in. That would be interesting. Paul Heyman, during that promo with Renee Young, said Reigns has no chance against Lesnar unless, and then he walked off. Could that have something to do with Kevin Owens maybe? Maybe Reigns wins the title due to Heyman's interference, and then it's all a swerve. Heyman made sure Reigns would win, so Owens could capitalize and pin Roman Reigns, cashing in Money in the Bank. That's, of course, if Owens defeats Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. So the idea of Kevin Owens as the new Paul Heyman guy, I like it. I'm not sure it's the best choice. I think somebody like Samoa Joe would be better, but that's just my own personal opinion. I think Owens does need it, though. I think the Kevin Owens of 3 years ago would have been perfect for Paul Heyman, but Owens, his character has been weakened over the past year or so. Not quite as credible as he used to be. So yeah, maybe an association with Paul Heyman would help Kevin Owens, but I still feel like Joe would be better suited for that. Joe has got that assassinator type persona. Owens did have that to a degree, but Owens also does the comedy and he's a little bit more of the chicken crap heel. So I'm not sure if he's quite as good as Joe, but it could work. That would be a very interesting turn of events, and it could happen. Who knows? We could very well see some sort of swerve where Heyman helps Reigns only to have Owens come out, cash in Money in the Bank, and reveal that Heyman and Owens were in cahoots all along, and it was part of a master plan. So Heyman could screw Lesnar and screw Reigns and go with a new guy in Kevin Owens. Would definitely make sense storyline-wise, which of course means there's a decent chance it's not going to happen since it's WWE. Got this one here from Sideshow Bob, the Rent Boy. Why does WWE just constantly overlook Batista? In that Daniel Bryan promo on The Miz, why did he not say Batista? Batista has been in Hollywood longer and been in bigger movies than Cena. That is a great question, and there has to be something going on here because you would think with Guardians of the Galaxy and the success that it has had, WWE would want to capitalize on that. WWE would want to bring back Batista and utilize him coming off of his success in Hollywood. But that hasn't happened. And according to Batista, WWE stopped returning phone calls. Something is going on here. Is it possible WWE resents the fact that Batista is succeeding on his own without the corporate machine? Is it WWE still feeling sour grapes about Batista's previous run, which was not his fault, by the way? WWE chose to bring him back and have him win the Rumble when the fans wanted Daniel Bryan in that spot. So it's a really interesting situation, and knowing Triple H and Batista's relationship over the years, it's very mind-boggling. You would think WWE would reference Batista every chance they get and even bring him back and do something with him. So I really don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. Now with The Rock, that's expected because there's a lot of talk about The Rock coming back for WrestleMania 35, and I feel like there's a decent chance and WWE wants to do something with The Rock, so that doesn't surprise me, but not mentioning Batista when it would make sense is very interesting, and I'm definitely like everyone else, wondering what is going on here that we don't know about. Got this one here from Ivan. Hey Aaron, I hope everything is going well. It is. Thank you for that, and I hope likewise. How is a feud between Elias and Lashley going to benefit either individual? I personally don't see it. I agree with you. I feel like this is a feud that has just been thrown together to give each of them something to do. It feels like WWE doesn't have a solid direction for either guy. Elias just comes out there, does his songs every week. Lashley was doing something with Reigns, but he wasn't figured into the main event plans for SummerSlam, so he has to do something else now. Elias did not win the IC title at Money in the Bank and has just been kind of there on Raw, not really doing anything too significant. So yeah, it feels like two guys that have no major program and they're just being thrown together in a feud, and it's one of those 50-50 booking feuds I sense, where one guy will win at SummerSlam, then they'll do a rematch, then maybe they'll do another rematch, maybe they'll do 4 or 5 matches over the next 6 months on television, and it's just going to go back and forth, and these 50-50 booking feuds really don't benefit either guy, and if the promos are not strong and the matches are just okay, then it really doesn't do much for either guy. So maybe it'll turn out to be great, who knows, but so far I'm not feeling it, and I sense a lot of people feel the same way. Got this one here from Aaron. Rift is the new Messiah? Should Ziggler and Rollins for the IC title at SummerSlam be a ladder match? You don't go from main eventing a pay-per-view and a 30-minute Iron Man match to just a singles match midway through the show. I think the two could pull off a greatest of all time ladder match too. Well, logic tells you you do a stipulation and you don't go from a stipulation match to a regular match. Sounds like something TNA would do. And there's a shot at TNA, so I know somebody out there will get annoyed by that, but they were known for that. In WWE, they are definitely in that direction now where they really don't think things out long term and they just throw matches together. And I feel like that Iron Man match was in fact just something they came up with, not thinking long term. Somebody you would think would say, hey, wait a minute. If we're going to do another match with these guys at SummerSlam, why don't we just do a regular match first and then do a big stipulation at SummerSlam to up the ante, since the feud is having a natural peak, and then you do something at SummerSlam and you have it end on a climax. I don't know. I don't know why WWE isn't doing a ladder match. They could do something on this Monday's Raw. They could announce something, but seems awfully late, and I sense it's not going to happen. If it does, great. That would be awesome. I think they would have a great match. But we also are coming off Money in the Bank just 2 months ago, so perhaps it's too soon for a ladder match. One could argue that as well. Got this one here from Daza 20006. Will Christian go into the Hall of Fame, or will he go in as part of Edge and Christian? And when did WWE stop calling ENC brothers? As far as when they were stopped being referred to as brothers, probably the end of Christian's first run. I mean, they split, and then Edge was on SmackDown and Christian was on Raw, and it really wasn't mentioned since they were doing separate storylines. So I think around that time, before Christian's first run ended. As far as him going into the Hall of Fame by himself, it's possible he could go in. I think there's a very good chance Edge and Christian go in as a tag team, and that might be more likely. Christian was a fairly decent star on his own as a singles competitor, but I think his legacy is going to be part of the Edge and Christian tag team. So my feeling is it'll probably be the tag team going in and not Christian by himself. But if WWE is really desperate for people to go in and they need some big names, they could do Christian and then save Edge and Christian for down the line. That is certainly a possibility. Got this one here from I've Got Kids 33. When Charlotte Flair finishes her career, will her or Rick have a bigger impact on their division? I think it's almost impossible for anybody to have the impact that Ric Flair had on the wrestling industry. Charlotte, as far as the women go, I think she will, when it's all said and done, be a major name in the history of women's wrestling. But will she be able to be at that level of her dad? That is a really tough task, and she's already done great for herself. She has already lived up to the Flair name. She's doing great things, but Ric Flair is still Ric Flair, and it's going to be tough for her to reach that level. But as far as the women go and that division, we'll see. Time will tell. How many years will she be able to do her thing? It's not that easy to predict right now because anything can happen. She could get injured. She could leave WWE for whatever reason. She might just decide to walk away from wrestling. Who knows? But if she does what she's doing for 15, 20 years, then perhaps she could have the kind of impact that Ric Flair had in the 80s and 90s. Who knows? Got this one here from Seth K. If Pentagon did go to WWE, what would they do with him? What would his character be? If it were me, I would continue to market the whatever, I'm not going to pronounce it because I would just butcher it, stuff, since that's what got him over and make him dangerous as he was in season 1 of Lucha Underground. Very solid question. WWE is reportedly interested in Pentagon Jr., bringing him in. He's been working with Lucha Underground and most recently with Impact Wrestling. What would they do with him, though? Would they put him with the cruiserweights? Would they give him a big push and maybe have him feud with somebody like Andrade Almas? That would be an interesting feud. Maybe even Kalisto or Sin Cara. Maybe they'll have him do bigger things than that. My concern is the roster is just so crowded right now. Pentagon Jr. does have a good look, which might help him in WWE. But at the same time, it's just such a crowded roster, and if you're not able to speak a really strong English promo, I sound like Vince Russo now, but to a degree, Russo's right. There can be a disconnect between a casual audience and somebody who might have trouble cutting a promo in English. I mean, that can happen, but then again, there are plenty of guys that have gotten over without cutting promos, so it is possible. But that might be working against him in WWE. I hate to say it, but talking will get you further than being a good wrestler, because there's tons of good wrestlers in WWE, actually a lot of great wrestlers in WWE. So really, it's all about being able to talk and cut a promo that I think can take people to the next level, and why guys like The Miz can have such a prominent spot for so long, because he's just such a good promo that, Vince loves that. And if you can do the entertainment side of wrestling, instead of just wrestling, you can also talk, that's going to go a long way. So with Pentagon Jr., we'll have to see if WWE does in fact sign him, what they'll do with him. Got this one here from Kyle Allen. How does the WWE Network change booking philosophy? Well, to sum it up, I feel like WWE has de-emphasized pay-per-views to a degree, because people are not paying $45, $55 for a pay-per-view anymore. The network is $9.99 a month, and therefore the pay-per-views are not nearly as important as they used to be. WWE's bottom line is coming from television and this deal with Fox and all sorts of different avenues. It's not like the old days where pay-per-view buy rates, that was the biggest revenue generator for the company. So that is probably the biggest change as far as WWE's business philosophy goes. Because of the network, things have changed. They want the network subscribers. That is important to them, and all the different shows on the network are important, but pay-per-views are not as quite of a big deal as they were before, because of the fact that the network exists now and it's $9.99, and WWE doesn't have to really put on the best pay-per-views, even though the pay-per-views for the most part are pretty solid. Got this one here from It's the Costanza. Hey Aaron, Team B, Team Go Go Go. Yeah, I think you meant B Team, Go Go Go, but whatever. More like Spirit Squad 2.0. Does that fit better? Yeah, it does. And I did talk about this on NoDQ Live. I'm not a fan of the theme song change because you need to go one way or another with the B team. Either make them a credible tag team or make them a comedy tag team. If you're going to make them a comedy team, then yeah, that's cool. Give them that song. But you have them go on this undefeated streak. You have them win the tag team titles. And after you do all this with them, you change their music to something that would be associated with an opening match comedy team. Just doesn't make sense to me. And it makes me care about the B team even less now. Why they're the tag team champions is beyond me. So yeah, not a fan of it. If the circumstances were different, if they were just a comedy team from the get-go, then it would not have bothered me. I feel like, you know what, it's kind of funny, but doesn't really work when we're supposed to take the tag team championships seriously. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please share it and tell a friend. If you would like to support the website, pick up a NoDQ.com t-shirt over at ProWrestlingTees.com, search NoDQ, or go straight to NoDQ.com/shirts. The shirts are a great way to support the site. We have tons of shirts on there, over 20 designs. So head over there and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. I will see you guys next time.